Hello and welcome back to Race Recap. My name is Jackson. Just over a week ago, we had the Truck Series and the Cup Series racing on the road course of Sonoma. And before we get into the recap, just a little bit of news about three Truck Series teams. First, G2G Racing, a new team to the Truck Series, just coming in this year. They were supposed to have two full-time drivers, or two full-time trucks and one full-time driver, that being Matt Jaskell. But it's now no full-time drivers. They let go of Matt Jaskell, and they also have the 47 truck part-time. So now it's just kind of one and a half trucks that they got over there at G2G. And actually, none of the drivers that were put on the entry list for Sonoma actually ran in the race. One truck, the 47, did not even start the race. I think there were some issues with the driver for that not being prepared for the race, something like that. He was a rookie and did not have all the papers needed to get checked out for practice session, so NASCAR said he could not race. I'll try to get more details in the next recap, which will be just in a couple days for the trucks at Knoxville. Also, Austin Wayne Self will not be racing for the next couple weekends. He and his wife had a baby recently, and a couple drivers will be filling in for his place, and this will make him non-playoff eligible. And then lastly, Tate Fogelman in the 30. I'm not too sure what's going on there, but he has had three different drivers in that truck, and he's supposed to be full time, so I'm going to try to follow up on that also. But I have just seen that he will be with Rackley War in the number 26 at Nashville Super Speedway. But it's not a super speedway, a mile and a third. But I'll try to follow up why he's not full time with the number 30 anymore. So, let's get into the recap by looking at the track description for Sonoma. If you want to pause the video, take a closer look. Actually, this is not totally correct. If you'll see over here in turn number 4, there's a little gray section right here. That's actually what they did now. Last year it was like this, so the race was a little bit shorter for the Cup Series, only 100 laps, I believe. But now it's 110 because it's cut off a little bit by skipping turns 4, 5, and 6 right here. They have turn 4, they have it as 4A over here, and then they just go up immediately into turn number 7. So this infield right here is not there for this year. It's just this little gray outline. And then they continue on through the S's and into one of the slowest corners, if not the slowest in NASCAR, turn 11, where you have to come down to, I believe, around 40 miles per hour. Just a slow crawler on that turn. Now, the truck race was 75 laps, pretty eventful. There was no caution early on. The 52, Stuart Friesen spins. First full course was the stage 1 winner, Ty Majeski. Then there was no caution when the 23 of Grant Enfinger went around. The second full course caution from the 98 of Christian Eckes tried to clear himself in front of the 4 of John Hunter Nemechek, was not clear through the S's, and he slid off into the outside wall there pretty hard, ending his day. Then there was no caution when the 88 of Matt Crafton went around. The third caution was the stage 2 winner of Ben Rhodes. And then there was no caution when Todd Bodine, making another start in that 62 truck, spun out. The fourth full course caution was when the 25 of Matt DiBenedetto and the 52 of Stuart Friesen both got off the course, and Matt DiBenedetto made a little bit of contact with the tire wall. And then there was no caution. Derek Kraus spun out in that little turn 4A section, and to turn 7 also there. He went around and he was actually hit on the side a little bit by the 52 of Stuart Friesen after he'd spun. Then the fifth caution was when the one truck of Haley Deegan on the front straightaway coming up the hill towards turn number 1 appeared to have a tire right front go down, and she just went straight off into the outside wall and off into the dirt and gravel there. And then the sixth and final full course caution was a pretty big accident right on the front straightaway after the start-finish line. It was when Josh Bilicki in the 30, of course, Tate Fogelman not full-time in the 30 it seems, he had some contact with the 52 Stuart Friesen. They both went up into the outside wall. Bilicki hit the inside wall and then bounced off that into the outside wall hard, nose first. And then he was also hit by Alex Bowman in the 7 truck and the 45 of Lawless Allen. And then lastly, there was no caution when the Dean Thompson truck in the number 40 spun out. And the checkers in this race went to the 51 of Kyle Busch. Went 1 for 4 this year in 2022. You knew he'd win. He can't go 0 for 5 in the truck series. So the top 10 here were Kyle Busch, Zane Smith, Ty Majeski, Ross Chastain in the 41, Chandler Smith, Carson Hocevar, who is battling a leg injury, and actually it was not Carson Hocevar. He switched out a few laps into the race. I mentioned he had that pretty big accident on the last lap at Gateway. This was Daniel Suarez in the number 42, who came in as a relief driver for Hocevar, but he was still able to battle it out there for a couple laps, and Suarez was able to get back up into the 6th position, so good job there. Then 7th was the part-time truck, Parker Kligerman, followed by John Hunter Nemechek, Tyler Ankrum, and Matt Benedetto. DNF's next race, Alex Wallen was out for the accident along with Josh Bilicki, Stuart Friesen, and Haley Deegan. Jade Buford, who was in the 33 truck for Rayon Brothers Racing, was out with transmission issues. Matt Crafton also transmission issues. Christian Eckes out for an accident, and the 46 GTD G2G truck was out pretty early on with what seemed to be oil cooler issues. So the next day after that, on Sunday, it was 110 laps for the Cup at Sonoma. The first caution was a full course yellow when the 23 of Bubba Wallace blowed up as he went across the hill in turn number 3, and that did end his day. Then there was no caution when the 43 of Eric Jones spun. The second caution from the Stage 1 winner of Kyle Larson. There was no caution when the 1 of Ross Chastain went around. The third caution was the Stage 2 winner of Joey Logano in the 22. And then there was no caution when Tyler Reddick had appeared to have an issue, something with a suspension or a tire, spun off as exiting turn number 10, coming toward that turn 11 slow corner, and Josh Bilicki in the 77 had a spin to avoid. And then there was no caution when the 16 of AJ Allmendinger went off as he crested the hill on turn number 3, appeared to get his two tires into the dirt, and spun out and made a little bit of contact with the tire wall, but was able to continue on. And how about this? The checker flags in this race went to the 99 of Daniel Suarez, and I believe he is the first Mexican driver to win a NASCAR Cup Series race. So, good job there to Daniel Suarez. And, if you win and you're in, it's a little bit different this year. You win and you're probably going to be in because there's still a few more spots available and still more races to come. So, we'll follow up on that. But how about this top 10 here? Daniel Suarez, Chris Buescher, Michael McDowell, Kevin Harvick, Austin Cindric, Ryan Blaney, Ross Chastain, Chase Elliott, William Byron, and Brad Keselowski rounding out top 10. And the one and only DNF was Bubba Wallace with that engine issue. Well, that's all for race recap. Come join us in a few days when we have the recap. It's just the truck series this next weekend. They will be on the dirt at Knoxville.